I was nervous Karen, my wife of 11 years, had told me to meet her at the Tumbleween at 3. I knew the bar would be practically empty at that hour, and whatever she had to say would have little to do with fun. I didn't know how right she was. The Tumbleween was where she and I met 13 years ago. I had a bad feeling. I suspected she was cheating on me with a coworker. I was afraid this meeting would be where I'd get the news. There were signs late nights at the office where she worked as the boss's secretary, disinterested sex, at least with me. New clothes, provocative clothes in her closet. Clothes she never wore around me, and much less interest in communicating with me. We barely spoke, even at mealtimes from which she was increasingly home. Over the past few months, it was mostly the kids, Max 9 and Megan 10, and me eating, and she would arrive with some lame excuse, and maybe a dessert from the market for the kids. Her lack of consideration for me hurt, but putting the kids on the back burner really. I was getting angry. There were few cars in the parking lot. When I arrived at the Tumbleween, I had decided to play it cool. If I was going to do and say what I suspected, I was prepared. I suspected it because of a conversation I had partially overheard 2 nights earlier. Yes, okay, Tuesday, yes, I'll take him there. Well, it was Tuesday, it was 3 o'clock, and she had taken me here. I sat in the car for a few moments thinking, what if I was with the idiot? What should I do? The advice my father had given me years before came to mind. It had served me well more than once in my business. Don't do anything, son, unless you know what to do. Don't say anything. Let your antagonist find out. The less you say, the more they'll worry. If they worry, they are vulnerable, and you can make plans to take care of things at a date and time of your choosing. Remember, if you open your mouth, they'll know what you're thinking right away. Even if you don't realize it, just shut up and go, take care of matters later after you have all the facts and your plans are in place. I smiled. God, how much I had loved that man. I knew he was looking out for me at that time. At the same time, I said a silent prayer of thanks for her advice. Inside, I saw her sitting at the bar with a man I didn't recognize, but that wasn't a big surprise. My company Steim, which I founded 10 years ago, took up all my time during the day, and I had little opportunity to interact with people at her workplace. I was an electrical engineer, and my company designed wiring and other electrical schematics for a full dozen construction companies that needed the services I could provide. I approached the two of them. She sensed my presence and turned around. Hey, Mark, she said. No, hey, honey, no, a kiss on the cheek, just, hello, Mark, honey, I said, and followed up with a what's up. The man turned around and looked at me. Sir Sim, or would you prefer I call you Mark? We brought you here today to inform you that your wife and I have been having sex for some time now. She let me know. Of course, she's tired of sneaking around and having to make excuses, so I convinced her to just tell you. Like I said, I was kind of prepared for this and the tape recorder in my jacket. Pocket gave me a head start. I hoped I was taking it all in. I waited. I said nothing. After all, Dad was watching, and I didn't want him to get mad at me for being stupid. Mark, Karen said, waiting for me to say something, but I stayed silent. She must have thought I was in SoCal, something like that. So she started talking. Mark, it's been so hard keeping this from you. I don't want you to feel hurt. I have no intention of leaving you. It's just that, well, sex with Jason here is something I can't give up on. I hope you can understand. I just can't keep this from you any longer, she said. I wasn't sure how aware she was of how stupid her argument sounded. Karen hadn't finished college for obvious reasons, but I never really considered her stupid until that moment. As for the military genius, she was switching me for well, words were unnecessary. I walked to the end of the bar where the bartender was trying not to hear what he couldn't help, but here I ordered what was on tap. He brought it. Yes, without saying anything, they both looked at me. I could see the confusion on both of their faces. I finished my beer and left. I felt their eyes following me as I left the building. I felt good for the first time in months. I felt like I had the upper hand. I could have imagined it, but it was definitely how I felt. I went straight home. The kids would be waiting for me. I kissed them, laughed, and told them it was going to be a good weekend for them. They yawned and cheered. We went to get ice cream. I told them my plan. I had formulated earlier that day. They would be staying with their Aunt Susan and Uncle Dew for the weekend. They adored my sister and brother-in-law. You and her husband, a former Army Ranger, had been unable to conceive, so Max and Megan had become their favorite people in the whole world. I knew Sue and Duke were going camping for the weekend, and now the kids would be coming with them. That would give me the chance I needed to handle things that needed to be handled all. Right, Mark said Duke. The man had an uncanny knack for noticing things. Honestly, I didn't say anything. I'm divorcing Karen. The kids don't know. So I thought I've noticed a few things. She interrupted me, and also, Sue. Karen actually tried something with me last Christmas. I ignored her, and she made a joke about it trying to cover herself, but she couldn't convince me, at least not me. Sue made me promise not to tell you. Sorry, I didn't know. It's okay. I'm just glad you're here to look after the kids for a couple of days. I need time to get all my things in order. Listen, Mark, if you need anything from me, thanks, Duke. I'll keep that in mind, but I think I can handle this. It'll be complicated. But I have evidence, and this isn't a no-fault divorce state. So there should be no problem catching them after I left. I went straight to Henry's to get things moving. Henry Morgan was the most competent lawyer in my firm. He was by all accounts at least 120 years old, but he was still as sharp as a razor, knew every judge and every valuable lawyer in the state and a few in town. Okay? Malcolm will interview the witness and have him sign an affidavit tomorrow. Even though it's Sunday speed wins in this business, hit him hard, hit them fast, and leave. Them bewildered and sucking dust. I always say it said, I like the way this man thinks and see, yes, I'm sorry about your marriage and especially Maxie Megan. Anything you need, thank you, Henry. I appreciate it. I left feeling very, very good. I had an ex-ranger and a really nasty lawyer calling the shots. Now I just had to sit back and let the storm blow over. I told Henry not to give her anything. She shouldn't get anything. He said it wouldn't be a problem if Henry said it was true. That was one thing I knew with absolute certainty. When I got home, I was surprised to see a strange car in the driveway. It had to be Jason's. It was getting dark, and I wondered if I'd be lucky enough to get some pictures of the lovers. I parked a couple of houses down and approached the house as inconspicuous as possible. The lights were off. As I approached the house, I saw Rex, my next-door neighbor, taking out the trash. Rex was a cop. I stood right next to the strange car and looked at him. He saw me and waved. I nodded. I had seen the car. I was glad he was another witness. I wrote down the idiot's license plate number. I would give it to Henry tomorrow, along with Rex's name and address, and maybe some pictures if I could get them. I went into the backyard like I was going to get the trash cans to take them out. Rex was already gone, so I could still try to sneak in and get my pictures. They were in the living room. I took out my cell phone and photographed them through the sliding glass. Doors in the back, thank God for modern cell phones. He was doing it from behind while she was on her knees on the couch. I took about 10 pictures. I put my cell phone away and loudly came in through the sliding glass door. They both heard me. They turned, looked at me, and continued doing what they were doing. I walked upstairs nervous. I thought I see him, but I waited about 15 minutes. Then I heard the front door downstairs open and close, and then the roar of the idiot's engine as he drove off. I waited another minute or two, and then I went back downstairs heading for the kitchen. I heard the shower running as I passed the downstairs bathroom. I poured myself a cup of coffee and waited. This was going to be interesting. 10 minutes later, she came and joined me. Are you okay? She asked. Her voice was kind. I said nothing, just sipped Faith and waited for her to say something meaningful. I was worried she wouldn't even think to ask about the kids. This woman wasn't the woman I married over a decade ago. Mark, we need to talk. The kids are at my sister's. Thought. You might want to know, I interrupted. Oh yeah, I noticed they weren't here when I got home now. She looked puzzled. Look, are you okay? I just wanted to be honest. With you, I didn't like sneaking around. You're a good man, and you deserve better. It's just sex. Just sex. I won't deny you anything when we're together. And Jason knows it, and he's okay. Damn, you're a good man. It was his idea to stop hiding things from you. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry, so I can have sex with my legally wedded wife, and Jason is okay with it. Damn, that's very kind of him. No need to be sarcastic. Mark, honesty is always the best policy. You know, he said he meant it. Apparently, breaking their wedding vows was an exception to the rule. I had to smile. I couldn't help it. Mark, damn it, say something, he ordered. What do you want me to say? If I told you to call him and tell him it's over, would you? He didn't reply. Well, then there's nothing more to say. Yes, you were right. I deserve better inside. I was laughing, but my outward demeanor was calm, even thoughtful. You're not a cuckold or whatever, she said. You're my husband and a good dad, and I love you. Save it. Karen, I'm leaving. Don't wait. I had to get out of there. I couldn't stand to be around her. She was dead to me. Monday would be all over and she would be, well, that would be history. I retraced my steps from earlier in the day. I was back at the Tumbleweed and the same bartender was on duty. I walked over and took my place at the end of the bar. The place was packed. Now I ordered a beer and asked the guy, "What's up?" I said, pointing at the crowd. "Ladies' night in Los Lobos. They're on the loose," he replied, pointing to the far corner. The lighting was dim, but I saw him. John was making out with one of the women, so the cheater was cheating on the other cheater. Why wasn't I surprised? Or maybe he wasn't cheating on the other cheater. Maybe the other cheater knew he had other interests. I heard that before today, man. If you need a witness. Thanks, maybe I will. I said my wife did that to me too a few years ago, but I didn't have anyone to stand with me. So I got beaten pretty bad in court, about to lose this place though. That was something, I guess. It would be nice if half of what I make wasn't alimony. We talk every now and then. For the next 4 hours straight, I made a mental note to talk to Henry about possibly getting this guy some justice if he helped me catch. Romeo and Juliet, the suckers, had to band together. Jason never noticed me at the bar. I managed to get some good pictures of him, and his little lady friend would use them to show my wife if in fact she thought she was exclusive with him. But that would have to wait until after the big show on Monday. I got home around 4 in the morning. Josh, the bartender, and I had had half a dozen cups of coffee after closing. He lived above the bar, and since he lived alone, I guess I was a good candidate. For a late-night conversation, I liked the guy. Plus, he was a damn good bartender. A big plus, in my opinion. I was upset with Karen, but he wanted to sleep in my bed, not in the mock-our guest room. There's something about a man's bed is something my wife knew about me, and maybe that's why I would have sex in the living room instead of upstairs. I slid her out of the way and just rolled over and slept. She evidently did the same, the light spilling through the cracks between the curtains by. The window woke me up. It was almost 8. I smelled bacon frying in the kitchen. I got up, showered, dressed, and went downstairs. She was in a good mood. I guess she thought everything was okay, or at least that our marriage wasn't terminal. "Hey, sleepyhead." "Good morning," she said. "Smells good." I answered. Well, I was doing it. I was hungry. It might be the last day of our married life, but I didn't have to get all gloomy about it. Shit would break loose tomorrow, but today was going to be a good day. I had a feeling. "I'll be here all day for you," she said. She said it like it was a special favor for me since she was being so reasonable. "Oh yeah. And if you behave yourself, you could get very lucky." She said she was laughing. I didn't know whether to laugh or feel nauseous. How could this cheating witch of a wife actually think I would consciously accept what she was selling? I simply laughed back. "I have to take my car in for a shop later this morning. I need to put new brakes on." "Oh, I thought we could." Maybe later I had to find a way around her, and it wasn't going to be easy. I really didn't want to stick my penis in her, but I figured I could take it if I absolutely had to keep her off balance right before I left to do the brake repair, which, by the way, wasn't a lie. I had my voice recorder on near the kitchen phone. I figured if she called him, that would be the phone I'd use. I was right. God, how I loved intrigue. 3 hours later, I was back. I picked up the recorder while I was taking out the trash. I went to my office to listen to what I might have captured on it. It was painful when I heard that she loved him. Very painful, especially since she knew he didn't give a damn. She couldn't wait to show him the dated pictures I got of him and his lady friend the night before. That would ruin their romance. "Hi, it's me." "Yes, he went out to do something in the car." "I don't know. Jason. Maybe he doesn't want to." Yeah. I'll try. He loves me. So maybe. But hey, I understand. I just don't want to lose him. I don't know, maybe we went a little far, showing it like that in his face. I know, but it's okay. It's okay. Goodbye. I love you too. I stood there in my office, amazed I had married her. It was shameful. Now I was sure I should divorce her. How could someone so stupid be responsible for their actions? No, the pain was too deep. The audacity of the couple made any kind of reconciliation impossible. And then there were the children. Clearly she didn't care about them at all. Unforgivable. I was up and out of the house before she even woke up. The next day was Monday, and soon it would be the beginning of the end for her and her lover. First, I went to the office to inform my secretary that I would be out for the rest of the day. The boss had its perks. First stop was Henry's office. He had news. Malcolm, his part-time private investigator, had gathered information on Romeo. He was married, had 6 children, believe it or not, and his wife had the money. And the family? A woman, 10 years older. Apparently, she had no idea about his extramarital escapades. I instructed her to take him down forcefully and also handed him my latest recording and the photos. He smiled at that I also mentioned that I might have a special job. For Malcolm, after the dust settled, I knew that their D would take the children to school. What scared me was having to speak to them later in the day, but there was no other option. It had to be done. Henry had arranged for the two lovers to be served, at work. There was a restraining order preventing her from returning to the house and also against him. The documents had to be delivered just before noon. I asked Henry to make sure it was done as loudly and with as much pomp as possible. I wanted the two lovers to feel pain. I had also asked him to make any evidence against the couple available to John's wife. What he did with that would be up to him. God, how I wanted to be there when my wife was served the documents. And then I thought, why? Wasn't I in the hallway when the server arrived? I didn't know him and he didn't know me, so he just walked past me to the office where my wife worked. Excuse me, are you Mrs. Karen Steam? He asked. Yes, it's me, she said, smiling. He was watching her from the doorway. And at first she didn't see me because she was turned away talking to the server. He handed her an envelope. You are served, he said, his face clouded. Looked at the envelope in her hand and opened it. She sighed and started to cry. Then, she collapsed in her chair. Her boss came out at that moment and tried to comfort her. I made myself more visible. She saw me and her eyes went wide. Mark, why couldn't I resist? I'm sorry. Like you said, I deserve better. And left, I wasn't present. But I later learned that Jason had been served a similar service. He actually fainted when he realized his life was practically over. Eventually lost everything. Wife, kids, home, job, everything. I got one thing wrong. Karen wasn't the biggest fool in the world, just the second biggest. A few days later, I sat in Henry's office sipping hot beverage, so you think you can help him since. It's so long after the fact I asked, yes, I think. So, the lady has a lot of secrets in her closet and is more than willing to reconsider the terms of their divorce to keep them secret. Make the alimony go to the... if you can, Mark, you don't know. Since I can do anything, she laughed. I take it back, I said, putting them together, dude. Gosh, if what you say is true, you'll never have to pay for another beer in here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Especially since she rubbed it in my face so hard at the time, I'm glad I could help. I said Karen ended up with nothing from our marriage, but miracle of miracles. She didn't get fired. She had been with her boss for so long that he let her indiscretion slide. This time, John was history. As previously told, I met up with Karen the day after the big show. I had something I wanted to give her to him. I knew I was risking having to listen to her beg and plead, but this was worth the risk, Mark. No, there's no way, children, that was a card I knew she'd play and I turned her down. You haven't shown any interest in children in months, Karen. That boyfriend of yours has had your undivided attention, Mark. He's a good man. He's just like you in so many ways, I think that's why. I fell in love with him. In the first place, he loves me too. That's why we tried so hard to make you understand. It was because of you that we bared our hearts and souls. Now you've considered destroying us all. All of us, even the children. How could you? The tears came again. This time I really had gotten angry, making it all my fault. God, I was furious, Mark. It's not too late yet. There's an us. If you wish, I know I can make John understand. You have needs too. You will still be my number one. You are the father of my children. How could you be any other way? John is out of us, not part of us. I will make you a very happy man if you just give me the chance. I was almost speechless. I couldn't even get angry. This was going to happen. Beyond being dumb, stupid idiot, she truly believed her absurdity. She needed help, but someone else was going to have to provide it for me. She was history. Karen, I came here today to see you for 2 reasons. First, I'm going to allow you unrestricted visits with the children, but never with your lovers. I'm going to give you some money so you can get a new apartment, but then you'll have to make do. I'll come at you with everything I've got. And Karen, you have no idea what I am. I'm capable, it's clear. Up until... Now she looked at me. It was clear that she had hoped against hope that you would take her back and that you would be okay with her continuing with the world number one. As I say, she was going to need help. The second reason is these. I pushed an envelope towards her. Please check the dates at the bottom of the photographs. I said, these are the photos I had taken Saturday night of Jason, and his little friend took them out and looked at them. But these are from last Saturday. You're not her. True love. "You never were have a nice life," I said. I got up, left a 20 note on the table for the waitress, and left. She spilled tears of despair as I left the building.